This is the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast with your host, Kevin Murray.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast. I'm excited, really excited today to have Greg Brainos back on the show from the Coach Speak Index. Welcome, my man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back on. Or God, what was it? 2023?
Yeah, December of 2023,
yeah.
back when things were just kicking off for you.
You were either the first person to have me on the show, or either the first or the second. I know you and Pete Overzet right around the same time when I didn't have that many followers yet, and you guys were early adopters of the Coach Speak Index.
It stood out so quick. I mean, people were loving what they were seeing. It was new, it was fresh. And I just obviously, love where you've taken it. What a journey. What has this ride been like for you?
It's been incredible, man. I feel very lucky, about where I am now in life, about where Coach Speak Index is now. I'm sure you're aware how hard it is in this space. There are feels like a million, maybe a billion people in the fantasy football content creator space, and just to be able to kind of cut through the white noise a little bit and find something that I feel like everyone subconsciously knew that they needed and wanted, and it's been kind of funny, like after spending a couple of years on the database to build it and then launching it, and then like a year after that somebody posts on Twitter or on Reddit, hey, what has anyone ever thought about doing like seeing how reliable the coaches are? And everybody's like, Coach Speak Index. He's like, oh man, funny. Missed it by a year.
That's awesome. So for listeners and viewers that aren't familiar with the Coach Speak Index, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, it is. So the reason I created it was in 2020, I had Joe Mixon on my fantasy football team, and Zach Taylor kept calling him day to day, and he missed weeks and then months, ended up missing the rest of the season. I was just tired of getting rug pulled by these coaches, not knowing which ones we could trust, which ones we couldn't. So decided, or realized rather, that hindsight's 2020. I can go back. I can look at everything that these coaches have said and build a database, and we can find out exactly how reliable they are in different areas like injury and usage and workload and depth chart and transaction. And that's what it's become. And that's what it was when I launched in 2023. And now, in 2024, I launched the Discord, which is where, I watch every single head coach, offensive coordinator, general manager press conference. And then I put every important note from those press conferences directly into the Discord. And so a little bit less posting on Twitter these days, and really just like kind of putting everything into the Discord there.
That's amazing. So that's what's more new now. Any highlights from this season? Any fun stories with what you've revealed from Coach Speak?
As far as like things that I was actual Coach Speak that I was banking on from this off season, like Tyler Warren was probably the most talked about player by any coaching staff. Like they could not shut up about Tyler Warren in Indianapolis. And this was even before they drafted him, just like the way that they were talking about a Y tight end, like not specifically Tyler Warren, but they reportedly they wanted Brock Bowers last year. And Chris Ballard, the general manager there, was like, I have to get Shane Steichen a Y tight end that can just dominate matchups in the middle of the field against linebackers and safeties. And that's exactly what they did with the 15th pick. And ever since they drafted him, like they just kept talking him up. So that was one. I guess another big one was Matthew, like the whole Matthew Stafford thing. Like nobody thought he was going to play. I felt like the only person who kind of remained steadfast that like, yeah, I think I'm pretty certain that Stafford is going to play week 1, and maybe there ends up being a hit on him or whatever that kind of like aggravates what's going on with his back. But just the way that McVay was talking and his reliability on injury coach speak, and then also just like looking at every single thing that he's saying, right? Not just the aggregated headlines that that we get from beat reporters or aggregation sites or whatever. But again, like the Discord where I put just every important note is so important, because it's more than just one sentence that these guys are saying, and you have to look at everything together, right? Like we want the full context when we're thinking about things, when we're making decisions on things. So that, yeah, I feel like that was a pretty big one as well.
Yeah, definitely. Coming off 5 touchdowns this week, and then you talk about Tyler Warren. Not surprising, he's on your stacked roster. We're obviously
Yeah.
we're gonna get into the stacked league that you're part of. Huge part of this this fantasy industry right now. This is a fun league that everyone's watching take place. But this community, in your journey, you talk about how much the fantasy community has helped you along the way and meant to you during this ride.
Man, so cool. When I launched it, and initially I thought, and I guess this is like the pessimistic side of me. I thought, oh man, like this industry seems pretty cutthroat. Like I didn't think people would be willing to help out as much, in kind of just embracing this and like also helping out. Like I mentioned to you about Pete Overzet being one of the first people to kind of reach out. Just some really great advice from him, and Matthew Berry like had a nice long phone call with him in 2023, not too long after I launched, and he just gave me some really great advice as well. And yeah, everyone's been 99% of people have been really cool, man. It's been great. Just a lot of really great people in this industry.
I love it. No, it's true. And like I said, this cool league going on. You got this stacked league. It's all for charity. You got $10,000 going to charity through this league. Some big names in the fantasy space got invited. You got invited. What was it that made you want to participate in this?
So I've known Jeremy, just like online, as being just again one of these very cool, nice people, doing a great job with the Reddit, with the subreddit for fantasy football. And he reached out to me about this, and I actually initially said no, because just like during the actual like in season, my workload is like, it's truly insane. It's over 100 press conferences per week, and it's about like 80-hour work week, and it's a one-man operation at the moment. So I told him, I was like, I don't actually do managed leagues. Like I just do, I'll draft some best ball stuff, and then like in season, I really got to focus on the press conferences, and the Monday press conferences in particular are like the worst, because it's the day after the games. The reporters have like a million questions. So you get like 20, 25, 30-minute press conferences from these coaches, and it's awful. But then so initially I said, no, sorry. And then he reached back out and asked if I could meet with him and Michael, is it Michael Chang? Is that correct? And then Michael demoed this the stack, like the platform. I was like, man, this is so cool. Like this is neat, the way it's able to like incorporate all the different platforms and just like do things that other platforms of this type can't do. And so I told them, and they asked again, and I just couldn't say no a second time. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll do it. I'm in. And then just also seeing like some of the other people that were in there as well, like Ben Gretsch. I was like, all right, I'll do it.
I love it. Now, what charity are you competing for?
UNICEF.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. Now, obviously, we're through week 7. The bad news: you're 1-6. I know it's been a battle.
Yeah.
This league is stacked. Kendall Valenzuela took down Dave Richard 147-101. Huge matchup, between top 2 teams in the league. Bo Nix with 39 plus points for Kendall Valenzuela took down Dave Richard. We got a 4-way tie at 5-2 with Dave Richard, Chris Harris, Kendall Valenzuela, and Sigmund Bloom. Ben Gretsch, David Kitchen, both at 4-3. And then 7 through 12, we got Andy Barons at 3-4, John Daigle 3-4, Andrew Cooper 3-4, Justin Boone at 2-5. Jake Seeley at 2-5, and Greg Brainos at 1-6. You've had some rough luck along the way. Honestly,
Mhm.
you don't have the least amount of points. You have the worst opponent scoring average, right? You're getting throttled because teams are they're stepping up for you.
Blow, blow, blow up
They're putting up a lot of
spots.
points.
Yeah, blow up spots every week. You're
Every
gonna
week.
have at least like one or two guys go crazy.
Yeah.
And it's actually really tough as far as, well, I don't know about tough, but it's funny because some, like, a decent amount of these blow up spots are like players that I have a good amount of in best ball. So I'm like, you know what,
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Go ahead, go off on me.
Well, I mean, a good example is this week, right? You go into Monday night, you got a chance against Ben Gretsch, and then he got Jahmyr Gibbs, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's just
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't. What do you do? What do you do?
Nothing. You know what's really really funny is I messaged Gretsch yesterday afternoon, and I said, hey, I had a dream last night that you benched Jahmyr Gibbs, and the butterfly effect from that led to the Mariners winning the World Series.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so he chose fantasy football over the
Which,
Mariners, which I get.
yeah,
I get.
I mean, I don't get it because I'm disappointed. Yeah, I know Ben is probably reeling today. I know Kendall Valenzuela is probably absolutely heartbroken. A lot of Mariners fans involved in this league. That was tough. That was tough.
Yeah.
But I love it. You're wearing a Nirvana shirt. I don't know what, if that was
Mhm.
because like you're feeling sorry for Seattle people, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I just love Nirvana, and I love this like new fashion trend of oversized shirts. And this is an oversized shirt that I saw at Nordstrom, and I was like, okay, yeah, I need it. I need it.
Give me one of those.
You gotta
I
stock
love
up
it.
on the oversized shirts because these fashion trends go in and out, and you won't be able to find these in a few months from now.
It's
So
true.
I
It's true.
gotta
It's true.
stock up.
Well, talking about stacked, your draft day construction from the beginning. I mean, I can see where you're going with this. You have the one spot. You took Jamar Chase. Then Joe Burrow goes down. You took McConkey. You took McBride. Obviously, you went with Tet McMillan, and then you lower on the running backs. You went with TREYVEON Henderson, which we got to talk about. You got Pollard. You got Caleb Johnson, Charbonnet in there. You went with a late round quarterback in Fields. That was looking good for several weeks. Unfortunately, he gets
The first
benched
week.
last week.
Yeah.
You do have Jackson Dart on the
Mhm.
roster. I see where you went. I mean, you went heavy wide receiver. You went heavy tight end. You got your Tyler Warren. You got a late round quarterback. Great strategy. And you thought taking a shot at some of these rookie running backs would work. I assume that was that your approach coming in, or is that just kind of how it all fell out?
Well, I would have loved to have taken like a Bucky Irving or a Jonathan Taylor or somebody like that at the 2-3 turn. The problem was like all of those running backs like just completely dried up by the two. Like there were no running backs there. Like all of the running backs that go like kind of near that range were already off the board by the time it came back. So yeah, so that's why I went wide receiver, and then tight end at that 2-3 turn. Yeah, your running backs just like flew off the board in this league. So it was kind of yeah. Oh, I gotta adjust here a little bit, and then try to take some pot shots on these running backs. Yeah, the TREYVEON Henderson that ended up being a not great pick. Caleb Johnson obviously ended up being a pretty bad pick there as well. But yeah, that has led us here.
Well, yeah, but those rookie running backs, I mean, often very safe picks. The hype for TREYVEON Henderson in the beginning of the season was huge. I can say personally, in my home league, the one that matters the most to me, I'm not in a good spot. I got Joe Burrow at quarterback. That didn't work well. Drafting TREYVEON Henderson in like probably 3 of my top leagues, and it's like I don't know what happened, but it's not happening. What are your thoughts on this situation? What are
Yeah.
your thoughts on what's going on with TREYVEON?
So there are a couple things that are just very, very odd in this situation. But when you look, and it's like two kind of separate things, but they also kind of work together to like make it make sense. One is the fact that, well, reportedly the Patriots got some very, very good offers for that. I think it was the 38th overall pick when they were on the clock for TREYVEON. End up picking TREYVEON Henderson. So that right there is a signal that they like really, really love this player, right? Like you're turning down some very good offers there. But then another very odd thing is that he was such an incredible pass protector in college, to the point where you have coaches from other teams talking about how great of a pass protector he was, which you don't get a lot of coaches talking about other teams' players, right? This is after the Patriots had drafted TREYVEON Henderson, and you have guys like I think maybe Stefanski was one of them, but just talking about like, man, like this dude is elite pass protector. And then he gets into the NFL, and it's just he looks pretty terrible in pass protection. And when you have a guy that's that great in college, like, yeah, it's tougher for rookies in the NFL, right? In their first season, but like you don't see that big of a drop off there. And you'll have guys who actually are a little bit better in the NFL in like you just don't see like such a crazy drop off like that. So I don't know what's going on with him, but they do not seem interested in playing him. And I thought this past week was like, this is the best matchup he will get. Like this is one of the best opportunities he'll have this year against the Tennessee Titans team that's just like rolling out red carpets for opposing running backs. Like you want to be facing the Titans, you want to be facing the Dolphins with your running backs. And I was like, okay, so I think this is going to end up turning into a blowout for the Patriots. So even if we're not getting like a 50-50 kind of split to start with Ramondre, like by the time the Patriots are blowing them out in the fourth quarter, then we'll see some TREYVEON Henderson and get some points there. And then they played a running back who I've like never heard of before. It's a real weird situation there.
The Vrabel effect. I mean, it's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Now another player that obviously has got a lot of excitement in the air. Jackson Dart. You did acquire him weeks back as on your roster, which is great. With the field situation for you to have Dart in there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like about Jackson Dart? What are you hearing about Jackson Dart?
He's very aggressive, which is great for fantasy. Taking these downfield shots, obviously the mobility that he has. So it's not just aggressiveness of like throwing the ball downfield, but it's aggressiveness with his legs as well, which we've already seen on full display. Brian Daboll just like absolutely loves this kid, man. There's 1,000 clips of him giving Jackson Dart like huge hugs and saying "I love you" and all this stuff. And I feel like he has kind of that same relationship to an extent with Cam Scatterbo. These are just like two young players who Brian Daboll is very, very invested in. And I think Daboll is like a pretty decent offensive mind and can get a lot out of Jackson Dart there.
And looking at your roster, there are some positives, moving forward. All right, Chase looked great last week. I mean, probably as good as anybody on the planet in sports last week. He was out of his mind, and that's great for you. Again, you mentioned Tyler Warren earlier on. That's got to be somebody on your roster that you're super happy to have on there. Looking at your roster, who are you happy to have on that team, and who do you think you need to really kind of step up to carry you through?
So I mean, it's for Jamar Chase, it was I needed someone that wasn't Jake Browning at quarterback. So very, very happy that they brought Joe Flacco in there. As far as like stepping up, I guess maybe like Ladd McConkey, like that's kind of a murky situation there, with Oronde Gadsden now proving that he is a very viable pass catcher. You have Keenan Allen having, these kind of like blow up games as well. Quentin Johnston started off super hot there. they're down to their like sixth and seventh offensive tackles. They're in Los Angeles. Hopefully Joe Alt gets back soon. That'll help out the passing game a little bit there. Need Teteroa McMillan to get some really nice targets. Maybe we'll get that with Andy Dalton coming in now, probably for a week or so for the Panthers. But he's one of those guys that has had like a pretty high expected points and just like not quite gotten there. Yeah, need a couple guys to step up there.
Well, your week 8 matchup, you got Andrew Cooper on the plate. He's got some buys working against him, so you got a great opportunity this week to get another one of those W's. I feel like it's a week to start this run for you.
Let's do it. Comeback begins right now.
I did notice the waiver wires, the waiver wire dropped, which is cool in this league. It drops, earlier than expected. Probably not good in your case when you're listening to, doing all the press conferences on Monday.
Yeah, I haven't.
Week 8 waiver wires, there was quite a few moves. You didn't make any, but is that because you feel like your team's locked and loaded?
It's just rough, man. I'm exhausted. By the time I send out the newsletter, like if I maybe I should set like an alarm at like midnight or something to like put in possible
well in this league there's always like a secondary waiver wire run too, so it's pretty crazy how much action there is in this league. A ton of waiver wire claims. Ronnie Gadsden goes for $29 with 7 people bidding on him. Joe Flacco goes for 7. Christian Watson for 5, Keon Coleman for 4, Marvin Mims for 4. A lot of competition. It's super fun to watch. When you're looking around the league, if you've taken a chance to look at those rosters, anybody in this league that you think is projected to be at the top spot at the end of the day?
Well, Kendall, it feels like Kendall's putting up about 1,000 points per week. Give or take a couple points there. I know Dave has like a super strong team. I don't know who the other. You said there are a couple.
Chris Harris has actually moved into the second spot. It's funny.
Really?
Kendall takes down Dave to tie at 5-2, but then Chris Harris just has a great week and he moves into the second spot.
Oh wow, nice.
And then Sigmund Bloom 5-2. So you never discount or count out Sigmund Bloom for sure.
It's an oligarchy in this league.
Anybody that you got to beat, you really want to beat?
No, they're all sweet people. I have no vendettas or agendas against anyone in this league.
I love it. Well, I think it's cool because tracking this league, a lot of people are tracking it from the outside. And you guys are doing just a great job, kind of showing the process, and obviously like this show, some of the write-ups that are being done, helping people look into the window of this league and seeing how people are operating. And I think the competition again has been great. Lots of action on the waiver wire. Seems like everybody's fighting. Cool thing about the charity component, you got 5,000 going to Fantasy Cares, and then the 5,000 is going to the winner's choice of charity. Now there is a last place punishment that's gonna be revealed here in the next couple of weeks. I think there's a chance that you're in that spot given the bad luck you've faced so far. But with that said, there are some teams that are right there. You're gonna be competing to get out of the basement.
I'll be out.
I'll
be out of
the
there.
Squad's got it. Yeah, I think you think you're gonna be there or not in there?
I won't be in the basement. I'll be out of there. I got faith in my guys.
I love it. Well, you've assembled a great team. Again, some bad luck along the way, but there's another half a season to play. Best of luck for you. Anything else you want to share with Coach Speak? Anything else you got going on before we close things out here?
Well, we're working on Beat Writer Index. That will be launching in 2026. So working hard on that. Can't wait to launch that next year. And yeah, man, just growing and moving and grinding.
I love it. No, I was going to ask you about that because I saw the account. I saw things are moving there. And talk about kind of why why you think that's relevant or needed in this space. Because I can see it, it's pretty awesome potential with that.
Yeah, well, kind of like the same thing with the coaches, right? Of knowing which ones are reliable and to what extent they're reliable. I think we need that same information for the beat writers, for the insiders. Adam Schefter been missing a lot of stuff this year. Would be nice if we could put a number on and know like exactly how much we can rely on them. Getting reports last year on like the Panthers of I forget, it was like a second or third string running back when Chuba Hubbard was out, and one of the beat writers was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's gonna get all the carries this week," and he ends up getting like 2 carries or something. Like we just need, it would be really, really, really nice to know to what extent we could trust like each piece of information, like each source that's giving us this stuff, so we can say, okay, this one I'm not going to pay any attention to. This one, this person has a really great track record. And really going to kind of, trust this one right there. And I, initially when, about a year ago, I said, okay, I'm going to do a beat writer index, and some people got a little upset about it and thought it was like an assault on journalism. That's not the case. I'm not like coming with any pitchforks, but like, isn't the point of reporting and journalism and all that to get to the truth? Like, what is the truth in this situation? What can we expect from here? And that's all that I'm looking to do. I just want to, bring some light to the situation and let people know you can trust this coach, you can trust this source. And I think that'll just make everybody better fantasy players.
I love it. Well, obviously the best is yet to come moving forward. 2026 Beat Writers Index. Love it. Can you tell listeners and viewers where to find you?
Yeah. At Coach Speak Index on Twitter /X, at Beat Writer Index, at the same place, coachspeakindex.com. Got the Coach Speak Index Discord, which is like where all the information is going from all these press conferences. Got about 1,600 subscribers in there in that private Discord now. So, 1,600 people who got a little bit of an edge on you.
I love it. Well, best of luck moving forward. At the end of the season, I'm going to be interviewing the champ. So you just got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah,
get to the playoffs and make things happen. We'll see you at the end of the year. Until next time, buddy. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for the invite.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Football Unlimited podcast. Until next time, be sure to follow and subscribe to all of FFU's social media accounts for daily content.